In the quaint village of Meadowbrook, nestled between rolling hills and verdant forests, lived a spirited girl named Clara. Clara had chestnut hair that bounced in curls and lively hazel eyes that sparkled with curiosity. Her best friend was a mischievous fox named Rusty. Rusty had a bright orange coat, a bushy tail, and a nose for adventure. Together, they were always on the lookout for new mysteries to solve. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and cast long shadows across the village, Clara and Rusty decided to explore the old, abandoned mansion at the edge of the forest. The mansion had stood empty for as long as anyone could remember, and villagers whispered that it was haunted by shadows that whispered secrets in the dark. Clara and Rusty were not afraid. In fact, the stories only fueled their curiosity. They packed a small bag with a flashlight, some snacks, and Clara's trusty notebook. As they approached the mansion, the sky turned a deep shade of purple, and a cool breeze rustled the leaves. The mansion was surrounded by an iron fence, its gates creaking open as Clara pushed them. The path to the front door was overgrown with weeds, and the house itself loomed dark and silent. Clara took a deep breath, her heart pounding with excitement, and stepped inside with Rusty close behind her. The air inside the mansion was cool and musty. Dust covered the old furniture, and cobwebs hung in the corners. Clara turned on her flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness. They began to explore the grand hall, with its high ceilings and ornate chandeliers, and moved from room to room, marveling at the remnants of the mansion's past grandeur. In one room, they found an old, grand piano, its keys yellowed with age. In another, they discovered a library filled with dusty books, their titles long forgotten. As they explored, Clara noticed that the shadows in the mansion seemed to move on their own, dancing and whispering in the corners of her vision. Suddenly, Rusty perked up his ears and let out a soft growl. Clara followed his gaze to a large, ornate mirror on the wall. The mirror was cracked and dusty, but something about it drew Clara closer. She wiped away the dust and peered into the glass. To her surprise, the reflection in the mirror was not of the room they were in but of a different place entirely. It showed a beautiful garden bathed in moonlight, with flowers that glowed softly and a fountain that sparkled like diamonds. Clara and Rusty exchanged a curious glance. "Let's see if we can find this garden," Clara whispered. Rusty wagged his tail in agreement. They continued their exploration, eventually finding a hidden door behind a heavy curtain. The door led to a narrow staircase that spiraled down into the darkness. Clara felt a thrill of anticipation as they descended the stairs, the air growing cooler with each step. At the bottom of the staircase, they found themselves in a dark, underground chamber. The walls were lined with strange symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the flashlight's beam. In the center of the chamber stood an ancient stone pedestal with a book resting on top. Clara approached the pedestal and carefully opened the book. The pages were filled with drawings and writings in a language she didn't understand. However, one page caught her eye. It showed the same garden from the mirror, with an inscription beneath it that read, "The Garden of Whispers." As Clara pondered the meaning of the inscription, Rusty nudged her and pointed his nose towards a small door on the other side of the chamber. Clara pushed the door open, revealing a passageway that led outside. They emerged into the very garden they had seen in the mirror. The Garden of Whispers was even more beautiful in person. The flowers glowed with a soft, ethereal light, and the fountain sparkled in the moonlight. Clara and Rusty wandered through the garden, marveling at its beauty. As they explored, Clara noticed that the shadows in the garden also seemed to move on their own, whispering softly. Intrigued, Clara followed the whispers to a secluded corner of the garden, where she found a small, ancient stone statue. The statue depicted a woman with a kind face, holding a book in one hand and a lantern in the other. At the base of the statue was an inscription that read, "To those who seek, the shadows shall speak." Clara knelt beside the statue, her heart racing with anticipation. She placed her hand on the statue, and suddenly, the whispers grew louder. The shadows around her began to swirl and dance, forming shapes and images. Clara watched in awe as the shadows told a story. The shadows revealed the history of the mansion and the garden. Long ago, the mansion had been home to a kind and wise sorceress named Elara. Elara had created the Garden of Whispers as a place of peace and magic, where people could come to seek knowledge and wisdom. The shadows were the spirits of those who had visited the garden, their whispers holding the secrets they had learned. However, a powerful and jealous sorcerer had coveted Elara's magic. He had cast a curse on the mansion and the garden, trapping Elara's spirit and the spirits of the visitors within the shadows. The garden and the mansion had fallen into ruin, and the whispers had become faint echoes of the past. Clara felt a deep sense of sorrow for Elara and the trapped spirits. She knew she had to find a way to break the curse and free them. As she pondered what to do, the shadows formed the image of a key, glimmering faintly. Taking this as a sign, Clara and Rusty began to search the garden for the key. They looked under bushes, behind statues, and around the fountain. Rusty's keen nose led them to a small, hidden alcove. Inside the alcove, they found a silver key, intricately carved with symbols that matched those in the underground chamber. Clara felt a surge of hope. She took the key and returned to the chamber, with Rusty trotting beside her. She approached the pedestal once more and inserted the key into a small, hidden keyhole. The moment she turned the key, a brilliant light filled the chamber. The light grew brighter and brighter until Clara had to close her eyes. When she opened them again, she found herself back in the grand hall of the mansion. But something was different. The air was warm, and the mansion seemed to glow with a soft, welcoming light. The shadows no longer danced and whispered, instead, they seemed to have vanished entirely. Clara and Rusty hurried outside to the garden. The Garden of Whispers was even more vibrant and beautiful than before. The flowers glowed brighter, and the fountain sparkled with renewed magic. Standing beside the fountain was the spirit of Elara, her face filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Clara," Elara said, her voice gentle and kind. "You have broken the curse and freed the spirits trapped within the shadows. The garden and the mansion are restored, and their magic will continue to thrive." Clara felt a deep sense of accomplishment and joy. She knew that she had done something truly special. Elara's spirit slowly faded, leaving behind a feeling of peace and happiness. From that day on, Clara and Rusty visited the mansion and the Garden of Whispers often. They knew that the magic of the garden would always be there to guide and inspire them. The mansion became a place of wonder and learning, where the villagers of Meadowbrook could come to seek knowledge and wisdom. And so, Clara and Rusty continued their adventures, always ready to uncover new mysteries and protect the magic of the Garden of Whispers. They knew that as long as they believed in the power of curiosity and kindness, the magic would never fade.